The UN is now looking for a replacement host country for its latest climate change conference, set to begin in just a few short weeks. You see, the one the UN had selected is now dealing with a little problem of deadly energy price riots. The government of Chile has just told the United Nations that they are not going to be hosting the United Nations Climate Change Conference this year. However, this is actually the second host country for the United Nations Climate Change Conference. Ever since Brazil elected their own version of President Trump, President Bolsonaro. You see, Bolsonaro told the UN to take their conference and take a hike. This is from climatechangenews.com, and they're describing the situation in Chile. Chile, racked by civil unrest for a fortnight, has withdrawn from hosting the 2019 UN climate talks. Environment Minister Carolina Schmidt wrote to UN Climate Change on Wednesday, notifying them that the summit supposed to start in Santiago on December 2nd would not be going ahead. Civil unrest for a fortnight? That's an interesting way to describe deadly riots, mob violence, death, arson, and destruction of public property. Here's what's really going on in Santiago, Chile right now. A 4% hike in the transit system fee has proven itself to be the breaking point for Chilean society. Mass protests have been continuously occurring since the October 18th fare hike. It all started with turnstile hopping at the transit stations, and then that spread into chaos, looting, rioting, and the arson of at least 22 transit stations. Let me paraphrase from Vox, of all places. Chile is the wealthiest nation in the region, and while it has an investor-friendly environment with a free market model that has driven poverty down from 31% in 2000 down to 6.4% in 2017, a recent study showed that 50% of Chilean workers earn less than $550 US per month, meaning that small 4% hike to the transit fee, well, it's become the flashpoint. Chile's President Piñera suspended the subway hike a day after the protests started, but the protests haven't subsided. 19 people are dead. Now let's talk about why Piñera raised the subway fees, because the truth is optically really bad for the UN and their anti-oil agenda. This is from the Washington Post. Chile doesn't produce its own oil and must import its fuel, leading to high prices for gasoline, electricity, and elevated public transportation costs. The government said the fare increase was necessary because of rising energy costs, the devaluation of the country's currency, and maintenance. But many Chileans are frustrated by rising prices. Oh yeah? Maybe it's a good idea not to host an elitist conference hell-bent on hiking energy prices for the poor and thus hiking the cost of everything, including public transportation, when people are rioting and dying because of a transit hike related to rising energy prices. It's a bit of a bad look, hey? And we wouldn't want those globalist elitists from the UN whose main goal is to make people pay more for the most basic of their energy needs to be forced to see the fruits of their evil labors firsthand on the ground in Santiago. Now, as far as I'm doing this video, the conference hasn't been canceled, but it is currently homeless. And I would not be shocked to see Justin Trudeau step up and try to claim it. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. We don't take any money from Justin Trudeau. We aren't part of the bailout media establishment in Canada. We rely on the support of viewers like you. Now, one of the best ways to support us and get a little something for yourself in exchange is to buy a premium subscription to The Rebel, and you can do that at premium.rebelnews.com.